All right, cut. So you're thinking about going solar, but you don't know how to get started? Well, in today's video, I'm gonna give you the 101 of solar. Everything that you need to know, we're gonna break it down to the ridiculous for you guys. Welcome to our channel. My name is Jose, and in this channel, we educate homeowners all about solar. We break it down to the ridiculous so that we can educate and empower you to know why solar, why now, why solar, why now, and what you want to avoid. So you're going to get a simple, quick masterclass so you understand how solar works, what are the costs, what are the benefits, as well as what you need to know before getting started. Make sure that you stay to the end for a bonus tip that you're not going to want to miss to make sure that you get everything that your home needs. So let's get right into it. Okay guys, so here's tip number one, the very first thing that you need to know when it comes to understanding how solar works. How does solar work, right? Now, just so you know, we have this glorious sun that gives us all of this power, right? It was like God's plan. But solar is real simple. Right now, we all have a relationship with our utility company where we're just pulling power all day, all day. You're just a consumer. When homeowners are able to go solar, this allows them to be a producer of energy. So the way that the panels work is that they take that direct current from the sun, they convert it through an inverter into what's called alternate current. And then through your electric meter, energy is sold back to the utility, okay? And then at night when the sun goes down, you're able to pull those credits, right? And so you're never paying to power your house. But it's very important that you work with a real solar professional who's gonna guide you the right way, because if your system does not produce 100% of your power, you're gonna be getting a double bill from your utility, right? And that's not the point to go solar. So real simple, we get power from the sun, it goes into the panels, inverter, through your meter, and then that gets stored like an energy piggy bank at your utility until the sun goes down, and then you use that stored energy. All right, guys, here's the second thing that you need to know about how solar works, and that is the benefits. There's 4 major benefits that homeowners are privy to when they go solar. The first one is savings, all right? And I know that's kind of obvious if you've heard about people that go solar. The major reason that they do it is to save 30, 40, sometimes as much as $100 on their monthly bill. And trust me, that adds up. After a few years, you're taking the kids to Disney. The second reason that homeowners, the second big benefit that homeowners get by going solar is equity in their home, all right? There's countless studies that talk about how solar increases the value of your home, no different than a home improvement or adding a pool. Plus, when it's time to sell your home or move, you actually have what they call a smart home, where the new buyer is going to get predictability and control on what they're paying the utilities as opposed to your neighbor. Third benefit of going solar is tax incentives. Depending on what type of program that you get, and especially if you have taxable income, people are able to get 30% off their entire system just by having taxable income. Now, that's not the best kind of program for every situation, particularly, let's say if you're been retired and you don't have any taxable income, but for some homeowners, this is one of the biggest incentives for going solar. And the fourth major benefit that homeowners get by going solar is this: control and predictability. You see, if I save you 20, 30, 50 bucks on your monthly bill, I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at, but it may not take food off your table. The main reason that homeowners want solar is for the same reason that they became homeowners instead of renting a house, okay? You could rent and you would be, you know, subject to all the market increases, right? But you said, no, I'm smart. No one's going to take my money from me. I'm going to buy a house and I'm going to have control and predictability. Solar is the exact same thing. All right, guys, this right here, point number 3 about everything you need to know about solar is the biggest question that we get from homeowners. What does it cost? Well, the simple answer is you're already paying for it, okay? But you see, what does it cost is the overt question. There's a covert question under there, which is what people are really asking. And so usually the way I guide my homeowners is I say, well, just so I'm clear, when you ask, what does it cost? Are you asking, what does it cost me if I stay stuck with my utility and have to deal with all their rate increases? Or what will it cost me if I'm actually able to qualify for this inflation protected rate? Okay? So the truth is that we're tied to the grid, right? Unless you plan to cancel your utility and like run your house off of fans and candles, we're tied to the grid, okay? And so the real kind of secret sauce is here that I often have to give homeowners the bad news that their home is not eligible for whatever reason, okay? And so it's not a cookie cutter thing, one size fits all. But for the homeowners that are eligible and are qualified, then it's just radical reduced savings on their bill. Point number 4 in understanding the basics of how solar works. And these are the 4 key considerations that you need to factor to see if your home would even be eligible for solar. Number 1, shading. Okay, many homeowners have way too much shading, which means that they're not going to get enough sun exposure, enough sun hours for their system to offset their yearly usage. And unfortunately, if the panels are not getting enough sun hours to produce the energy that you need, in many cases, it just doesn't make sense. Number 2 is electrical. If perhaps you may need a panel upgrade or if you have electrical issues, many times our engineers are not going to sign off and do the project. Number 3 is your roof, okay? We're here in Florida, like we're experts here in the Broward County market, but roofs in Florida are a big deal, right? And so if your roof is not structurally sound, if it's too old, or if it has holes or leaks, that may be another thing for you to consider, okay, to take care of before your home may be potentially eligible for solar. And the final key consideration that you want to think about when going solar is credit, okay? Now, the way most of the programs work right now, whether you do a loan or a lease, solar does not show up as debt on your credit report. However, most of these programs right now are federally funded, meaning that there's no upfront cost out of pocket to you, but because it's being funded by the federal government, if you don't pay your bills on time, I'm sorry, you won't qualify. Okay? Now, we're gonna get to the last thing that you wanna know when it comes to understanding the basics of solar. And this is kind of twofold. I'm gonna go over the solar installation process, okay? And I'm gonna give you a little nugget about this when it comes to working with installers. So, solar installation process. When I come to your home as a professional to kind of lay out your options, what happens if you stay stuck with that P&L and we're not able to get your home approved, or your option of whether you're able to qualify for the solar program and get a much lower payment. When I explain this to homeowners and we get to the end, oftentimes people say, well, you know, thank you for the information. I kind of want to think about it. And I tell them, listen, I completely get it, but I'm just going to be blunt with you. There's nothing to think about yet. You see, I don't even know if the home makes sense for solar, right? So the first stage in seeing if solar makes sense is just applying for whatever program your solar professional is going over with you, okay? Because in many cases, if engineering does not sign on the project, there's really nothing to think about, right? Assuming that engineering comes back and says, hey, this home is a go, now you actually have something to think about. All right, so I would encourage you, if the numbers make sense and you're interested in getting a protected rate on lowering your bill, at least go ahead and apply. Now, assuming, right, that you pay your bills on time, that you're not wanted by the mob, or that you don't have bankruptcies that are too recent, and you make it through the first pre-qualification, and engineering signs off on the project, now you still have the red tape, right? You need approval from your local county. You need approval if you're in an HOA from HOAs. Now, just so you know, by law, HOAs cannot stop you from going solar unless you have like a shared roof and they own the roof, some weird thing like that. But if you're an HOA person, don't worry about it. We work with a lot of homeowners and even presidents of homeowners associations. So once we get permission from the HOA, if applicable, from the county and from your utility, they must sign off on it, all right? If we make it through that red tape, awesome. Now your installer is going to schedule an installation date. They're going to come out, do the project. It generally takes a day and a half, depending on the size of your home. From there, the county comes back out and inspects the entire project to make sure that everything is above board. Then they give what's called a PTO, permission to operate or power transfer order. And from then, the sun goes up and the bills go down, baby. Now, before I get off of the topic of the solar sales installation process, now that you understand that, I have to just say, it is very important that you work with a reputable installer. Okay, there's a lot of people who are either being misled, manipulated, or whatever you want to say by these fly-by-night installers that pop up, and next you know, there's a guy that we're actually helping right now here in Fort Lauderdale, right, named Hugo. Hugo, I hope you don't mind I'm name dropping you. But we came by his house and he actually has racks installed. They installed racks on his house, and then this installer went out of business and disappeared. So I definitely recommend that you guys do your homework and make sure you're working with someone reputable. 3 companies are not helping him. Luckily, we're gonna help him out. but don't have this happen to you. Research and make sure that you're working with someone reputable, vet them, all right? Big tip there. Now, last bonus tip before we get out of here. A lot of people have questions about batteries, okay? This is a bonus tip. Now, we are in Florida, all right? Specifically my team and I. Finley right now is behind the camera, okay? But my team and I, we're here in Broward County, all right? And so we help people all throughout the state of Florida. But a lot of people have questions about batteries, right? So batteries only help you when there's a power outage. Now, if you're in an area where you don't get a lot of power outages, or where you're just okay, right, being without power for a few days, when something goes down, you don't ever need batteries. Here in South Florida, depending where you are, there are a lot of places where it makes sense. We get a lot of storms, we have a hurricane season, right? And so people often are without power. It happens all the time. And so perhaps if you have a situation where you have elderly senior people living at home with medical devices that can't be without power, if you have newborns, or maybe if you run a business from home, right, you can't be without power, these are some of the things that you want to consider whether a battery makes sense for you, because a battery is going to be a little bit more money, okay? And we'll do a video soon on the difference between batteries and generation and backup options. But just so you know, when the grid goes down, your solar's not working. We're always tied to the grid. So batteries, generators, all of that stuff only helps you in the event of a power outage, okay? So guys, we hope you got value from this video. If you know someone who's on the fence, who's curious, who's just completely like in the you know, about solar, and they want more information, please share this with them. We started this channel because we encounter so many homeowners who are either being misled, misguided, or just blatantly misinformed about solar. And we want to have this as a resource for homeowners to get fully educated. I'm talking about breaking solar down to the ridiculous. We want to empower you, educate you, so you can understand why solar, why now, and what to avoid. So guys, make sure that you smash the like button, that you subscribe, that you share this with your friends. And if you're in the Broward County area and if you're curious about whether solar makes sense for your house, feel free to comment, message us, reach out to us however you want. All right, guys, now we have to go help another family. I want you to watch one of these videos somewhere here. YouTube thinks you'll like it. Peace!